who supported him. Speaking after the results were announced, Odinga expressed his appreciation to both his supporters and those who did not vote for him, acknowledging their right to exercise their voting choice. Odinga, who had initially led in the early rounds of voting, was ultimately beaten by Mahmoud Ali Yusuf of Djibouti, who emerged as the new AUC chairperson. Despite the loss, Odinga remained positive, emphasizing the importance of the election process and the role it plays in shaping Africa's future. He also took the opportunity to wish Mahmoud Ali Yusuf success in his new role as AUC chairperson.
At Africa Hall, where leaders of the African continent have gathered today to elect a new leader who is going to take over from the outgoing leader. I had offered myself as a candidate, and over the last few months I've run around the continent talking to leadership of the continent, canvassing for their votes. Today they have expressed themselves, and as it is now, we did not succeed. They will say that we must strengthen democracy in the African continent, and therefore myself conceding defeat, and I want us to use this as an example of strengthening democracy in our continent. I therefore want to wish my competitor Ali Yusuf all the best. We want to wish him success in his undertaking. And we also want to thank all those members or countries who voted for me. I also want to thank those who did not vote for me, because in doing so, they are exercising their democratic right. That's how democracy should work in our continent. We should strengthen it. So I'm very grateful for the exercise here today. I thank the people. I thank the people of Africa. And to say, Viva l'Afrique libre. Thank you.
At the same time, after conceding defeat in the African Union Commission chairmanship election, Raila Odinga expressed his thoughts on the laws and emphasized the importance of his ongoing work at home. Speaking after the announcement of Ali Mahmoud Yusuf's victory, Odinga shared that despite the setback, he had a lot to focus on within Kenya.
I don't know, because as you know, the vote was secret ballot, so you don't know who voted and who voted against you. So I will not say, but I'm sure that most of my friends voted for me. Most of my friends voted for me. And of course, in those who voted for me are also my friends, but probably they thought otherwise. So they exercised their democratic rights.
Have you prepared yourself for such an eventuality?
Of course, when you go to a contest, there can only be two outcomes. You can win or you can lose. So this is one of them. And therefore, I'm not bitter. I'm very happy, in fact, indeed. And I'm still available to offer services to the continent in any other capacity.
Do you think the situation in the DRC might have played a hand?
I am not sure. I don't want to speculate what might have played a hand. But as it is, DRC issue remains a contentious issue. It's something that needs to be fixed as quickly as possible, because the kind of suffering that we are seeing is completely unacceptable. The wanton destruction of property, the killing of innocent people, children, women, and so on, must be stopped. My plan now is I will go back home, and so many things to do back home.
Right, moving on, Kenyans have expressed mixed reactions following Raila Odinga's defeat in the African Union Commission chairperson election. where he lost to Mohamed Ali Yusuf of Djibouti. The election held in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, ended with Mohamed securing the position, marking a significant moment in the region's political landscape. While some Kenyans expressed disappointment over Odinga's loss, others offered support and urged the opposition leader to remain focused on his efforts to improve Kenya's standing in Africa and global politics. A section of citizens voiced their concerns that the defeat marked a missed opportunity for the country, with hopes that the AUC chairmanship could have played a pivotal role in enhancing Kenya's influence on the African continent. However, there were also voices of encouragement, acknowledging that Odinga's journey towards the chairmanship was a testament to his long-standing commitment to African unity and diplomacy.
Mimi namwambia tu baba akubali tu matokeo na arudi nyumbani, ang'ang'ane na maisha tu ya serikali, apigane na serikali, atutetee sisi wananchi. Nimefurahia akishindwa.
Raila ameshindwa kwa sababu kama ameshindwa kututetea sisi hapa wa Kenya, huko juu ataweza kututetea kweli? Mimi nimefurahia kushindwa kwake.
Baba ako tu sawa, kwa kutoka kushindwa kushinda ako tu sawa, lakini ni bora arudi kwa nchi yake, ang'ang'anie kwa nchi yake. Akishinda kwa nchi yake, nje atashinda, kwa maana huko hata sisi tunamhitaji na huko hajatutimizia na ameenda nje.
Baba ako sawa bwana, kwa sababu unaona baba, unaona kwa uchaguzi lazima kuna mshindi, kuna mwenye anashindwa na kuna mwenye atashinda, si ndio? Sasa hii uchaguzi baba ako sawa bwana, tunaambia baba karibu tena 2027 akuje, ako sawa bwana.
Baba ameshindwa huko Addis Ababa, tunakaribisha baba akuje nyumbani. Sio mwisho wa uchaguzi, akuje tu 2027 akuwe competitor ya Ruto. Tutapikania, tutapea kura zetu, atachukua tena. So Raila asilose hope. I know ni mzee lakini akuwe karibu na William Ruto, serikali iko karibu na yeye.
Sisi maoni yetu kwa rais ni na Wakenya wote ni alert kwa rais ya kwamba ajue ya kwamba sasa 2027 ni wakati ya kufanya kazi sasa hizi. Isikue itafika 2027 yani ni warning tu, amepigwa warning mapema. Kazi ifanyike.
Sijaamini kwamba Raila amepoteza. Sijaamini amepoteza. Sasa tujipange tu.
Kwanza ni kama majani inapanda, sukari inashuka. Na watu wa Uganda kama wako hapa na ni majirani yetu, hawezi support baba. Watu wa Tanzania wako hapa, hawezi support baba.
Yangu kufuata hii vile imefuata hii, nimeona watu wa Uganda Museveni ya kuenda. Na hapa Kenya watu wa Uganda nakaa kama toilet. Hao arudi kwao. Watu wa Tanzania arudi kwao, kwa sababu saa yote hao wanakuja hapa kucollect money hapa juu ya Kiwete. Na kufika time tunataka wasaidie sisi hawezi. Watu wa Kongo pia the same, arudi kwao. Hatuwezi weka hapa Kenya tunaweka watu kama toilet na wasaidie sisi.
All right, I don't know what's your take about Raila's loss. Keep engaging us on our socials at TV EBN, that is on Instagram and also Facebook. Moving on, United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres has pledged to work closely with the African Union Commission to ensure the success of their collaborative initiatives. Speaking at a recent event, Guterres emphasized the importance of continued cooperation between the UN and African countries to strengthen security and governance across the continent. Guterres highlighted the commitment of the UN to supporting African nations in their efforts to enhance leadership, accountability, and maintain peace and security. He further stressed the need for a unified approach to address the challenges facing Africa, particularly in governance, stability, and sustainable development. In his remarks, the Secretary General reaffirmed the UN's dedication to partnering with African nations to create lasting positive change, reinforcing the organization's strong belief in African solutions to African challenges. The collaboration is expected to foster greater accountability and ensure that all stakeholders, particularly in the security and leadership sectors, are actively involved in Africa's development.
Africa was under colonial domination when today's multilateral system was created, and that injustice endures. Look no further than the United Nations Security Council. There is no excuse that Africa still lacks permanent representation in the 21st century. I will keep working with the African Union and all member states to ensure the representation Africa needs and the justice you deserve, including with 2 permanent members of the Security Council. And we will keep pressing together for an international financial architecture that is no longer outdated, dysfunctional, and unfair. Correcting age-old injustices is essential to address here and now challenges. And the good news is that we have many of the solutions we need. Last year, you helped drive that effort at the United Nations with the Pact for the Future. And I thank Africa for its support that was vital to approve the Pact. Our task now is to make those commitments a reality. South Africa's G20 chairmanship could not come at a better time. Excellencies, Africa has contributed little to the climate crisis, yet is paying the price with record droughts, floods, and heat. Climate justice requires a massive investment in adaptation, with the international community bearing an enormous responsibility. Developed countries must double adaptation finance, and countries must significantly boost the loss and damage fund. The partnership between the African Union and the United Nations has never been stronger. Together, we see an Africa booming with hope and possibility. You have a booming, enterprising population, including the largest number of young people in the world. The African continental free trade is poised to turbocharge the region's economy, and calls to address the legacies of colonialism and slavery are growing louder, as reflected in your team this year, and as reflected in the leadership of so many passionate voices for the liberation of Africa, such as the great Dr. Sam Nujoma of Namibia, whose life we celebrate and whose loss we mourn.
All right, from Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, we head back to Kenya, and former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua has declared that the Mount Kenya region will carefully evaluate the track record of every leader before pledging their support, a statement that reflects growing dissatisfaction within the community. Speaking in Olkalau constituency in Nyandarua County during the consecration service of Bishop George Gathare as a new bishop of Full Gospel Churches of Kenya, Gachagua criticized the leadership of President William Ruto. He claimed that after the region helped Ruto secure the presidency, the community has been neglected and its political influence is now being sidelined.
Umesema mambo ya kondoo, Mungu peke yake ndiye anajua kondoo. Sisi hapa watu ya mlima tulijifanya wajuaji, tukajifanya tunajua kondoo. Kumbe alikuwa afisi, amevaa ngozi ya. Sasa wewe umesema mambo ya kondoo, mwenye kujua ni nani? In future tutakuwa careful. Sababu hii kondoo imekuja tukifikiria ni kondoo, tumeweka na zile zetu imekula zote. Imeanza kukula sisi, sasa tuko na wasiwasi. So vile umesema vizuri sana ya kwamba Mungu ndio anajua kila mtu kwa jina. Mimi nilikuwa na muungwana, nilimsaidia, nikamsaidia huku, nikatetea, akafika pahali alitaka. Alikuwa ananiita Rigathi, Rigiji, Baba Kevin. Baadaye amejifanya anijui, ananiita Mkabila. Hii ya Rigiji Gachagua, from that name ulimjua mtu alikusaidia. Ameongea na watu yake wote wamekusaidia. Unajifanya sasa hata humjui jina yake, unamuita nini? It is true what you have said. Sisi tegemeo letu ni Mungu. Kwa sababu hao binadamu sasa tumekuwa na wasiwasi sana. Olkalau Stadium alisema within 6 months bado. Ya Nyandarua wanalipa kodi. Na because wanalipa kodi lazima wafanywe nini? Kazi. Na hakuna mtu tutabuabudu kwa sababu si Mungu ndio kazi ifanyike. Kazi itafanyika kwa sababu tunalipa kodi. Sasa nyinyi kama mkiwa viongozi, mutetee barabara hizo, mutetee hiyo mambo ya maji, mambo ya stima. Hiyo ndio kazi yenu.
Moving on, former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua has strongly condemned the rising cases of abductions and killings of young people under the current administration. Speaking during the consecration service of Bishop George Gathari as the new Bishop of Full Gospel Churches of Kenya in Olkalau constituency in Nyandoro County, Gachagua expressed his deep concern over the government's handling of such grave issues. In his address, Gachagua criticized President William Ruto's leadership, highlighting that the administration has failed to address the growing number of abductions targeting those with divergent political views. He stated that while the perpetrators of these crimes may eventually be forgiven, the community will never forget the injustices faced by those who were taken and killed for simply holding different opinions.
We will try, Presiding Bishop, to forgive. But there is one thing we are having a problem. Maybe maombi utatuombea, utatusaidia. There is one thing we are unable to forgive. Lakini vile umesema mtatuombea with all these bishops, maybe mtaguza roho zetu tuweze kusamehea. Kuteka watoto wetu nyara na kuua hawa, hiyo tuko na shida kusamehea. Lakini si tutaombewa? Ukituombea labda tutasamehea hiyo. Kwa sababu hao watoto hawana makosa. Hao ni watoto wetu. Wanasema Kenya haiendi mzuri. Wanasema chief haifanyi kazi. Wamesema hii mambo ya manyumba hatutaki. Mambo ya barabara tulidanganywa. Kenya haiendi mzuri, rekebisha. Watoto wachanga miaka 18, 19, 20, 21 wanatekwa nyara, wanauawa. Sasa Bishop, hata kama unatuambia tusamehe, tumekubali. Lakini kusamehea yule anateka watoto nyara na kuua watoto wetu ambayo hawana hatia, hiyo labda ukituombea leo utaomba. Tuone kama utaguza roho zetu.
Alright, away from politics matters now to health. Kenya remains on high alert as the country confronts the resurgence of delayed diseases in the region. The Ministry of Health has called for increased surveillance across the border posts to prevent further infections. This heightened concerns follows the recent reporting of 3 new cases of mpox, bringing the total number of cases to Kenya to 41. As the situation evolves, the government is prioritizing measures to protect citizens and visitors alike from potential health threats. Speaking at Jomo Kenyatta International Airport, Public Health Principal Secretary Mary Bavoni, along with World Health Organization Country Representative Dr. Diallo and International Organization for Migration Chief Migration Officer Basket Mukunda, emphasized the importance of enhanced procedures at all entry points. These measures are particularly critical given the resurgence of diseases like Marburg and Ebola, which are spreading in the neighboring countries.
We have also been able to have risk communication and community engagement efforts that are ongoing to raise awareness about mpox. However, we must note that there are other threats that have emerged, posing significant risk to public health and safety, including Marburg outbreak that was in Tanzania and Ebola that was suspected in Uganda. These 2 outbreaks remain active, heightened, and we have heightened risk of cross-border transmission into Kenya. And given our proximity and frequent cross-border movement, Kenya remains at high risk of importation, requiring urgent and coordinated action to mitigate the spread of these 2 diseases. We are not an alien country, and because of trade and travels between the countries that are around us, we are at high alert. And that is why meeting with the multi-agency teams is very, very critical at this time so that we can heighten our borders. And these diseases are highly infectious, and that is why we have anybody coming into the country has been screened. Travelers that are originating from countries where these diseases are and present themselves with symptoms of Marburg, including fever, headache, lethargy, anorexia, loss of appetite, aching muscles of joints, stomach pain, difficulty in swallowing, vomiting, difficulty in breathing, diarrhea, along with their identified contacts, shall be required to complete the traveler surveillance form at the port of entry.
We collaborate with the Ministry of Health, our partners, in order to identify the appropriate, to minimize the risks, as well as to provide the appropriate measures so that safety of the people in the Kenya remain as it is. So we thank to the Ministry of Health, our partners WHO, and all the stakeholders to contribute towards the minimizing the risk of the health during the phase of migration.
Right, moving on to some sad story now. Chaos erupted at the Makindu Sub-County Hospital Macharia in Makueni County following the postponement of a post-mortem examination on the body of Martin Mugambi, a Form 2 student who tragically drowned in a school swimming pool. The student, who attended Miangeni School, was discovered in the pool, leading to suspicions surrounding the circumstances of his death. The delay in the post-mortem investigation has sparked concern, particularly from the family of the deceased. Martin's father, Aaron Mwangi, emphasized his deep frustration, questioning the motives behind the postponement. He voiced his desire for justice, insisting that the investigation should proceed promptly to determine the true cause of his son's untimely death. According to reports, the school administration and investigative officials were involved in the decision to delay the postmortem, though the reasons for this action have not been publicly clarified. The family is demanding transparency and answers, urging the process move forward swiftly in order to uncover the truth about Martin's death.
DCI na mwenye shule wanaficha ukweli, na hatujui kama hiyo ukweli wanataka mwili yetu ioze ndio ukweli isijulikane. Lakini leo tunataka tufanyiwe postmortem, tujue ukweli ya mwili yenyewe iongee. Hatutaki mtu aongee, tunataka daktari afanye postmortem, mwili iongee ndio tujue mtoto wetu alikufa na nini.
Kama shule ingekuwa inataka kujua mtoto alikufa aje, ingewaka hand in hand with the DCI na pia the hospital, pia wao ungekuwa ready the first day hivi ndio wajue mtoto nini limuua, ndio pia watuambie. Why are they hiding information?
Justice for Martin now.
Right, moving on, fans from Manchester United, Lottery Club, Red Cross and Arsenal have shown their solidarity through peaceful walks to Bungoma Referral Hospital, where they could donate much needed blood to support patients. This initiative is aimed at helping the hospitals meet its monthly blood requirements, which exceeds 700 pins for various medical cases. Bungoma Referral Hospital, which serves a large region, requires substantial blood supplies for patients suffering from conditions such as malaria, maternity complications, cancer, and victims from road accidents. The blood donations are critical for providing life-saving treatments to those in urgent need. The hospital is also working on the establishment of blood storage facility to ensure a continuous and reliable supply of blood, which is often sourced from well-wishers and regular donors. The recent blood drive highlights the importance of community involvement in saving the lives of and ongoing need for donors to support the hospital's mission.
Bungoma County Referral Hospital serves a wider region, and the blood satellite bank we have here serves the entire Bungoma County and even parts of Busia County, and beneficiaries also from around Matungu area within Kakamega County, and of course it extends up to Trans Nzoia County. The type of clients we receive that need blood here are many, and we really support and thank everybody that has been able to show up and come and support us in terms of donating blood. We receive clients who have been able to be involved in accidents. Also clients that need blood are ones that have suffered from anemia. Anemias come in various ways. There are those who have physiological anemia, there are those who have pathological anemias. we need around 700 units of blood to be able to serve us sufficiently. So you'll find that we really need blood. We have a few units, but they're not sufficient enough to serve the entire population that do come. So you'll find at times we need to source blood from elsewhere to come and support the clans within our setup. Kwa ujumla ningependa kutoa ama kuhimiza waweze kuja hapa kutoa damu kwa sababu ni muhimu. Kwanza damu yenyewe unapotoa inasaidia kurejuvenate your cells kwa sababu pia kunakuwa na ile nafasi ya cells kwenda kujiunga upya, na hivyo basi utakuta kwamba you have more new cells within your body.
Wa Manchester United nimekuja kudonate blood kwa sababu ni muhimu tu, kwa sababu kuna watu wanahitaji damu. Nimejitolea tu kama fani wa Manchester United kusaidia tu.
Football unites us, but beyond the football, beyond the game, we're also part of this community. And we understand Bungoma County Referral Hospital has a challenge with the blood supply. They don't have adequate facilities. The blood satellite is not well equipped. And so blood has always been a challenge. Even the nearby hospitals, zikitafuta damu haipatikani. So it's also good for us just to create awareness and to encourage the community to be regular blood donors.
In Valentine, because instead of giving out flowers, we give out blood to help the needy, those who need blood for various reasons.
Right, it is exactly that 2 minutes past the top of the hour. That note, we wrap up our bulletin here at EBN Weekend Edition, and it goes without saying that Manchester City emerged victorious against Newcastle, garnering Manchester City garnering, of course, 4-0. Right, that note, we wrap up our bulletin. My name is Macharia. Do have yourself a lovely night and a blessed Sunday ahead, and let's meet again when God says we do.